AI is here. Like it or not.
It's the photo editing app that's taken over.
Magic avatar trend.
Magic avatars.
Magic avatars. Transforming your pictures into magic avatars.
If you are on any form of social media, you have definitely seen these pictures. These are artworks created by artificial intelligence via a mobile app called lengthier AI. You might have seen a few of your friends, or all of your friends, post pictures of themselves created by this app. At first sight, it's really incredible to think that AI art could do something so beautiful at the click of a button. However, if you dig deeper into where AI art comes from and what it could do, the simple click of a button to create a beautiful piece of artwork becomes a lot more messy of a situation.
The opportunistic collection and exploitation of large amounts of creative work with no consent or compensation.
And we as artists are not being protected. This is genuinely an industrial scale violation of each and every one of our rights.
This is a long one, so buckle in for a ride. And if you have anything else to add, write them in the comments and we can talk about it. And while you're at it, like the video too, and click the button that spells SUBSCRIB, subscribe.
AI is not like the iPhone. It's like electricity. It's like going to be a much, much larger technology than I think most people in the current world get at this point.
Okay, this is a big topic. Where do we start? I'll address the ethics part in a bit, but first I think we need to come to an understanding of what art is, because most of the outrage and the pushback against AI art has come from the art community itself. Many artists have expressed their frustration against this technology. To really understand their pushback, you need to think about what art means to them, and then you need to think about what art means to you. Let me elaborate. I've seen both sides of the arguments for and against AI art. The one side, led by tech enthusiasts and developers, believe that art is a product. It is a result of combining different factors. By factors, I mean like, what type of art medium does the artist use? Is it watercolor or oil painting? What type of illustration style does this artist like? Is it more flat or is it more 3D and realistic? These people believe that there is no difference between an artist taking inspiration from other artists and an AI learning from online images. The AI is simply speedrunning a human artist's education and experiences and then combining that to create their own style. And then the other side, led by artists, argue that art is deeply connected to the human being that created the artwork. It's about the artist who spent years studying, learning, experimenting, and finally formed their style and made this piece of art. If a machine comes and copies all their art styles without actually having gone through those years of experiences, it's stealing. The art it creates lacks a soul. It lacks true creativity. If I were to break down the arguments into very simplistic terms, the issue is that both sides just see art differently.
How do we define art?
Art is one of the backbones of our humanity.
What surrounds the art, the story behind it, the personality behind the art.
The ultimate disagreement between the two sides is that one side is product-driven and one side is process-driven. The side led by developers believe that art is product-driven. They see an artwork as a standalone piece separate from the creator. They see it as a result of all these factors combined. Art in the eyes of a product-driven audience is just a product. Nothing about the process it took to create this piece of artwork is connected to the art itself. In fact, it doesn't really matter. And that's why these people believe that AI art can be original art, because the art piece that it creates is separate from the creator themselves, which in this case is a machine. An example of what I mean by a product-driven focus would be like, hey, I have a blank wall at home that I want to decorate with artworks. Unless I'm one of the richest billionaires out there, I'm probably not going to spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to purchase one piece of artwork to simply decorate for aesthetic purposes, right? If I have the choice, I'm going to choose to use the AI to produce something cheap but still aesthetically nice, because I just care about its purpose to add to the aesthetics and the creativity of this house. But art in the eyes of an artist is not just about the results. The side led by artists believe that art is process-driven. What this means is that the artist believes that art is intrinsically connected to the process that the human artist went through to create that piece of artwork. It's a form of self-expression. Whether it's the artist's intentions or how they were feeling at the time of creating the artwork, or where they were, or what inspired them at that time, all of these things in a eyes of a process-driven audience is what makes art original. The process of how the art was created is an important part of the art itself, and it cannot be separated from the actual artwork. Art having a process-driven focus will be like, instead of purchasing art as a product for decoration purposes, it could be art as a gift or a souvenir. For example, you can easily purchase a portrait of yourself created by AI. You have these amazing options produced for cheap online, or you can pay to have an artist draw a portraiture of you on the streets of New York City. The process of how the portrait was created and where you were and who the artist was becomes a really important part of the art itself. The art is meaningful because of what happened during the creation process. It's more than just you taking a photo on your phone. There was another person involved in the creation process of this piece of memory. When you buy an artwork, you're not just buying the art as a product, you are also buying the process that the creator went through to create this piece of art. Every single brushstroke of this human artist has intention and has emotion behind it. And that's just not the same as AI is building things pixel by pixel. And that's why artists believe that AI art cannot be original art or real art, because a crucial part of what makes it art, the creation process, is missing. Now I'm curious to hear whether you see art as more product-driven or process-driven. Do you see art as more of a result, or do you see the art process as way more important? My personal opinion is that art is always process-driven to some extent. Yes, the product matters, but the essence of what makes art really art is the creation process and the creator themselves. I don't have anything against art just being a product. To me, it's just no different from a mass-produced decoration item that you can find at the dollar store. Because frankly, things that become more efficient and more easily mass-producible loses value. But that doesn't mean that the want for higher value items will ever go away. Yes, you can have nice looking vases at the dollar store, but you also have people who actively look for artisan vases and are willing to pay much higher, because they believe in art as something that is more than just a product. And also, if everyone has access to similar style vases, you might want to look for something different and something more unique. We can make things more efficient. We can offload a lot of our repetitive work to technology. But AI will never replace what a human artist can bring. And if you don't believe that, talk to someone who is an artist. I encourage you to talk to someone who is either a friend or family or someone on the internet. Listen to them talk about their art. Listen to them talk about their creation process, about why they do art. And I think you can start to understand art through the eyes of an artist.
Identity isn't just what they produce. Their identity is their provenance, meaning where they came from, what surrounds the art, the story behind it, the personality behind the artist, the time.
The places we have visited, the museums that we have smelled, the lives we've touched. That's what makes you unique as an artist.
A human has to literally look at the inspiration, process it in their minds, combine it with their life experiences, with the way they feel, with how they approach every single brushstroke.
It's the human behind the art.
Okay, this was really long to just talk about art. I'm gonna go get some tea and I'll be right back. All right, oh good. I'm back. Let's actually talk about the ethics and the technology part. Honestly, it is quite the Wild West right now.
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm! Wait. Everybody calm down!
No one really knows how to regulate AI in creating this original art because the technology and the usage cases are just so new and it's still evolving to be more and more powerful. So right now, the biggest concern in AI ethics is plagiarism and stealing. The current technology right now sources from a huge database of artworks and information published on the internet by different artists. And these artists basically never consented to their artworks being used to train the AI to be better at creating art. The companies and the researchers developing the AI inputs all of these publicly available but technically copyrighted images into the machine, and the AI learns from all of these images to create art. And a lot of these images output by the AI can create eerily similar styles to the artists they have learned from. Obviously, this has stirred quite the pushback from the art community. I want to first address a couple of misunderstandings. This comes from someone with a computer science background and is surrounded by machine learning engineers and computer scientists and software developers, and has browsed through a lot of threads on Reddit. Firstly, AI was never built to plagiarize someone else's work. The only plagiarizing that happens is when a human who is using the AI types in a prompt like generate a portrait in the style of Sam Yang or create a background in the style of Claude Monet, and then claim that to be their own artwork and profit from it. This has already happened to a couple of artists, and it's really terrible. But you need to know, the plagiarizing that happens isn't because of the AI, it's because of the person using the AI. To put blame on the AI when this happens is really misplaced. Because the issue isn't a technology, the issue is the person using the technology. It's the person who is a trash human being who wants to bully artists just because they can. And to me, the solution isn't to ban this technology, it's to educate and to punish the people who abuses this technology for this purpose. At the end of the day, it's the people who have power over the technology, not the other way around.
It's a tool, not a creator.
Second thing, I've seen a couple of posts talking about how artists are getting mad or protesting because AI is replacing their future and their jobs, and a bunch of people pushing back on how that's stupid. I think a group of artists will be displaced because of their job, especially the digital illustrators out there who this job is really just to do what they're told. They're not really creating at the end of the day, they are just doing. But as a whole, I do not think this will topple the art industry. If else, it might actually make it boom more because it has become more accessible to more people.
It's a bad thing in automation for like individual artists, but it's the good thing when applied to like all of the economy, because what it means is that all of the economy become like every product you can possibly imagine becomes like wildly cheaper.
That being said, the sentiment of fear and outrage is really valid. I mean, if you just think about how much work they've put in to get to where they are today and having their whole life, their career, and their potential future pull from them just within seconds because of this new technology. Yeah, I would be outraged too. For anyone out there who is dismissing these fears, you are also a trash human being. Now, more than ever, is time to educate yourselves about art and AI. If you are a developer working on anything related, please listen to the concerns of artists and incorporate their feedback into the current AI technology out there to see how you can push art further. And vice versa, if you are an artist, learn about AI to see how it can improve your current art creation process. The reality is, AI is not going away, and art is not going away. So how do we create more conversations between both sides so that we can cohesively work together and elevate art to the next level?
There's just like not a lot of like sort of overlap between art land and AI land, and like totally should be. So if you are somebody who like wants to do this, like you're trying to build tools like this, like please come talk to me.
Last thing, which I think is the biggest misunderstanding of all, is this issue of stealing. That's not where the real issue lies. Artists really have an issue with companies capitalizing on a product created with the help of someone else's work and then not giving proper credit. There's a slight difference, and I will explain. Let me put it this way. Say I am an aspiring digital artist. To get better, I go on the internet and I find everything I can from artists I respect and I want to learn from. I copy every single one of their artworks without their consent to learn about their style and creative process. Maybe I even take their online tutorials. And that takes me, say, 10 or 20 years. If I create a drawing now, it will look similar to that of artists I copy because I learn from them. But it's different because I added my own stories, my own touch to it. Now, do you think that's stealing? I think everyone here will say no. I took inspiration and lessons from other artists and then I added my own touch. What I just did is exactly what the current AI does. The only difference is that the AI does it in a much faster time than a human could ever do. It's a machine, and it's learning. Machine learning. I don't think artists have a problem with this learning process itself. What artists have a problem with is with people who are selling this learning process. Say, now I am a well-known digital artist, and you want to draw like me. What if I say, I found a special way of picking out all of my years of art education and experiences and styles, and I mash it all together, and I create this magical paintbrush. And I sell you this magical paintbrush. Put any of your ideas into this paintbrush, and it will draw for you. It will draw for you just like I do. And I sell this for much, much cheaper than how much it will actually cost for you to pay me to draw the same artwork. Now, this is the problem that everyone has. I am now making so much money by selling this magical paintbrush. But the process of how I made this paintbrush is by copying other people's work. So artists are now like, hey, we contributed to you making this magical paintbrush. In fact, you didn't even ask us before you used our work to create this. And now you're the only one benefiting from it. This is the real problem. It's not about stealing. It's about unfair capitalization.
So this supposedly for research, nonprofit, legally privileged dataset is being used by a for-profit company that's currently going for $1 billion valuation.
Copyrighted images are used to train the data that now are being used for for-profit tools, and the artists are not being compensated at all.
Okay. Is there a way to solve this problem? I don't think so. I genuinely do not believe there is a way to regulate the stealing of AI to create this art. It's pretty impossible in application. Or like, it just doesn't make sense. There is too much data that AI algorithms use to properly credit every single piece of data that goes in. I wouldn't even know how to begin to do that. But then again, I'm not an AI researcher, so maybe one of you can shed more light on this. The whole point of AI is to make things more efficient, right? So if you have to track and credit every single piece of data that goes in and comes out, it will take way too long and it defeats the point of efficiency. It defeats the point of the AI. So realistically, no AI company wants to do that. No developer wants to do that, especially people who don't see art in the way that an artist do, like in a process-driven way. So how do we actually incorporate and embrace this AI technology that's probably not going away? I actually have an idea of how AI can work well alongside human artists. It's just a theory, I don't know how possible it is in application, but let us indulge in this personal proposal a little bit.
Okay, talk to me.
Let individual artists take control of the AI. Let the artists feed their own artworks into the AI, and then they can claim that style and IP as their own work. If anyone wants art in the style of that artist, they go to that artist for a commission. But instead of drawing the commission themselves, the artist will use the AI as a tool to make the commission. This benefits both the artist and the buyer. The artist can profit directly from their own creation, and at the same time not have to spend the time and effort to create the entire commission themselves. Maybe they will do final touches and adjustments after the AI has done the general work. At the same time, the buyer benefits because they can purchase a commission for much cheaper than what it would originally cost, because there is a significant reduction in labor time. So in this scenario, instead of treating the general public as potential customers, the AI companies would treat artists as potential customers. Just like how Illustrator and Photoshop serve as tools to help artists make better art, just like how Adobe softwares are available to the general public, but their main demographic is creatives. Obviously, this still doesn't directly address the stealing issue, but if we can set that as a baseline in which each artist owns the IP related to their own art style, we as a public can start to associate different art styles with the artists themselves, and we can prevent people from just feeding other people's artwork into the AI and then claiming it as their own work. At the end of the day, AI is meant to improve efficiency. So if we were to adopt it, that should be where our focus is. AI is not built to replace artists. It is built to help artists make art better, faster.
Copyrighted images probably shouldn't be in the training set. The problem that would like artists to pay attention to is that even if you were to get rid of those copyright images, they don't solve your problem.
Great. I know, it doesn't solve your problem in the long run. To get a style without training it on a bunch of data of that style is to work with artists to train it on that style.
Everybody is on your side. Nobody in AI is not on your side.
If there's anything that each of us can do right now, it's to educate ourselves and educate our friends about art and about AI. I don't think AI art is inherently bad, and I don't think AI art will ever replace man-made art. But I do think every single person has the ability to see art in a process-driven way. It is our responsibility to see art in the eyes of an artist and respect their work.
I am a very complex creature, and my art is a manifestation of that.
This is our passion. This is what makes us who we are.
Art has been done for thousands and thousands of years. The last 20 years, we have a completely new medium to share it, and so it's just a very volatile time right now.
I hope this makes us appreciate human-created art more.
We're at a very pivotal time in history right now. It's gonna take all of us knowing about this issue, talking about this issue, and educating people who don't know just how messy the situation is.
This ended up being much longer than I originally expected. I will go back to shorter videos in the next couple ones, but let me know in the comments if you actually like these longer lengths. I just feel bad for making all 5 of you listen to all the way to the end. But if you did, thank you very much. And as always, click the button that spells SUBSCRIB subscribe.